Hello, boys and girls. Guess what? We are on our last lesson for telling time, which is lesson 711. So we are going to be talking about AM and PM. And maybe you've heard of that before and maybe you haven't. But after today, you'll know what it is. So let's figure it out together. So this is what you really need to remember. Noon is 12 o'clock in the daytime. Midnight is 12 o'clock at night. Times after midnight and before noon are written with AM. 11 a.m. is in the morning. Times after noon and before midnight are written with PM. 11 p.m. is in the evening. Notice how the 11 and the 11 do not change on the digital clock. You just have to know which one is AM and which one is PM. We're going to talk about AM and PM times. And when we look at this clock, the digital clock says 12 o'clock, and so does our analog clock. Now, how do we know if it's 12 o'clock AM or 12 o'clock PM? Well, looking at this picture, you can tell that it's during the day. So we know that whenever it is noon or 12 o'clock, then it starts 12 o'clock PM. And it has to go all the way around until it gets to 12 again. And once it gets to 12 o'clock at night, at midnight, then after it starts time again, then it's 12 o'clock AM. It says 12 o'clock, and we can tell by our picture that they're talking about 12 o'clock at night. A lot of times people call it midnight, and when this is on the 12 o'clock at midnight, as soon as it goes to the next minute, it becomes 12 a.m. And it goes all the way around until it gets to 12 again, and then it would be noon. And then once it's noon, it begins the PM cycle, and it goes all the way around again until it gets to midnight, and then it becomes AM, and it just keeps on going. Let's figure out what time this is. The hour hand is between the 11 and the 12, and the minute hand's on the 6. We know that is 11:30. Now we need to find out, when would you be sleeping? Would you be sleeping at 11:30 a.m.? or 11:30 p.m.? Guess what? You would be sleeping at 11:30 p.m. because that is at night. Now it says 11:30 again, but now we need to decide when you would be at school. Would you be at school at 11:30 a.m. or 11:30 p.m.? I know you said the right answer. You're right. You would be at school at 11:30 a.m. So we're going to go ahead and match where we think these things that we could do would fit on our timeline. We have 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, we have 2 p.m., and we have 4 o'clock p.m. All right, so to do homework, that means you would already be done with your school day. So we would probably do that in the afternoon after you were done with school. So let's go ahead and make a mark to this one right here at 4 p.m. You get home and do your homework and get it done, right? How about this one? Go to art class. Well, you could go in the morning or you could go in the afternoon. We usually do art in the afternoon. So I am going to go to this 2 o'clock and I'm going to choose that one. How about eat breakfast? We know we eat breakfast in the morning, so we have to go to AM. So we're going to take this eat breakfast and we're going to do it before we come to school. And we're going to eat breakfast at 8 o'clock AM. Let's go ahead and go to the library. A lot of times we go around 10 o'clock for library. So we're going to go ahead and circle this 10 o'clock. I have a trick question for you. Maybe it's not tricky, but we have to think about it. What do you think this dot right here would represent? If this is 10 o'clock and this is noon, what time do you think this would be? It has to be between 10 and 12. We know that would be 11 o'clock, and we need to make sure we write AM because it's before noon. And what about this dot right here? Between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. That would be 3 o'clock p.m. Good job. The question we are going to answer is, what time do you eat breakfast? Let's look at this clock. It tells us that the minute hand is on the 1 and the hour hand is on the 7, which shows us that it would be 7:05. Now we have to decide though, would it be 7:05 a.m. or 7:05 p.m.? 7:05 a.m. means before noon, so that is the answer that we would choose. 7:05 a.m. This question is asking us, at what time do you do your homework? And let's figure out what time they have for us today. They say we do our homework at, look where the minute hand is. It's on the 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, right? So we know this is 25, and the minute hand is between the 4 and the 5. So we know that that's the 4. So the time is 4:25. Now, would you choose AM or PM? We have to choose PM because it is after noon. What time do you arrive at school? 8:25. I bet you guys figured that out before I even said it, right? So 8:25. Now, is it AM or is it PM? It's before noon, so we're going to say that it is AM. What time do you eat lunch? Let's look at the clock. It's on the 10, the minute hand is, which if this was 45, add 5 more on, we know that's going to be 50. And the minute hand is between the 11 and the 12. So we are going to eat lunch at 11:50. Now, it is not noon yet. It's almost noon, but it's not noon yet. So we would have to say that it's 11:50 a.m. Now this one is already done for us. You can see that it's the a.m. is circled. It is 7:15. You eat breakfast in the a.m. in the morning. So this one's already done for us. But let's look over here at this one. Let's write the digital time of what time it is. Look at the hour hand between the 1 and the 2. So we know that it's 1. And then we have to look at our minute hand. It's on the 8. Start at your 6, 35, 40. So it is 1:40. Now that does not tell if it's AM or PM, but what do you think it would be? It's during school time. It would be 1:40 p.m. It's after noon. All right, let's look down here at this one. You can see that, I'm gonna move this up a little bit. Whoops, just a minute, let me do this. I'll move it up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so you can see that this girl is doing homework, and the time says what? It's between the 4 and the 5, so we know it's 4. And it's right on the 6, so we know it's 4:30. But what is it, AM or PM? It is 4:30 p.m. because it's after school. Okay, and then over here on this one, it shows us that it's between the 8 and the 9, and it's on the 5, and you guys are getting so good at this. Let's just go ahead and say it. It is 8:25. Look at that. You guys are getting so good at this. 8:25. And would it be AM or PM? Is it before noon that you arrive at school? Yes, it is. So it has to be 8:25 a.m. Time. Time is so interesting, isn't it? On the clock, it doesn't tell you if it's AM or PM. We just have to use our minds and think about what is AM and PM. So just remember, when it is 12 o'clock at noon, and it goes all the way around, this minute hand could stay, but this hour hand goes all the way around and goes to every single hour, then it becomes midnight. And when it becomes midnight, then it starts all again, and it goes around all the different hours, and it becomes noon. So it just keeps doing that. When it's noon and the hours continue on, it's PM until it becomes midnight, and then those hours become AM all the way until you get to noon, and it just keeps going around and around the clock. So I hope that makes sense, boys and girls. AM and PM, AM and PM. This really creative group called Number Rock writes really cool songs about learning, and I found them on YouTube, and you can check it out. It's Telling Time Songs for Kids, AM and PM, and I just chose a little bit of it that was talking about the AM and PM. I thought you might like to watch it, so please enjoy.
The hour hand is shorter always. It goes around the clock twice each day. First time round is AM, the second time it's called PM. AM starts at midnight's moon and continues until noon. So we call noon 12 PM, and it goes till 12 AM. Every number the hour hand goes by represents 1 hour at a time. We count the minutes out of 60.